pass to Johnson. Johnson still going. Dummies again. Johnson into the one to Brown. Brown goes in to score.
Oh, he's serving it down the touchline. Oh, this is unbelievable. They're going to win it. Oh, what scenes here, what scenes. LeBron James, a shot at history. LeBron stands alone. The NBA's all-time scoring record now belongs to LeBron James.
All right, let's rip in. Surly here, back in the saddle for another episode of SDS. As always, cheers for your ears. Really appreciate everyone for tuning in. She's going to be slightly shorter and sharper this week, ticking boxes in the NRL, Super Rugby, and then some punting. No weekly wrap or Q&A. Just a little bit short for time, but still did my best to bang her out. Shout out as well to the TAB. If you're having a flutter this weekend, the TAB code for your bonus cash, exclusive to Surly Talk Sports listeners, is TRYTIME. And if you place a first, second, or third try scorer bet on any NRL game and your player doesn't score, you'll get your money back up to $20 as bonus cash. That's limited to the first 200 people to claim it. Again, the code is TRYTIME. Chuck that in, place a first, second, or third try scorer bet on any NRL game this weekend. Player doesn't score, money back in bonus cash up to $20. See a few of you've been sending through your winning slips off the back of these promos or turning your bonus cash if your bet didn't win into winners as well. Really appreciate the interaction and everyone getting around it. And thanks again to the TAB, just adding some extra value for your podcast listeners each week. Great stuff. My 150th game this weekend for the Mighty Coat, which is incredibly exciting for me. She's been a long slog. This is my 14th season for the Prems. Injuries and whatnot has made it a little bit longer than what I would have liked to, but extremely honoured to be joining this club. It's pretty rare these days that you get 150 games for your club footy side. We're taking on Silverdale up at Dale, 2:45 kickoff, and then heading back to the Coat for a bit of a presentation. Booked a bus for the lads too. Fair to say, I Google Maps it the other day. It's only an 18-minute drive from Northcote to Silverdale, but we'll be convincing the bus driver to take the long route for sure. Bit of a mini pub crawl on the way home, and then I'll do my best to get up and make a speech, half steamed, thank the ladies in the kitchen and whatnot, but really looking forward to that on my Saturday arvo. And if you are around, out and about, feel like watching some grassroots code, would love to see you there at Dale. Then finally, before we get into the pod and start talking about the biggest topics from the Oval Ball game this week, just wanted to touch on the passing of an absolute legend in Doc Mayhew, of course, a Northcote Centurion, a Northcote Life member, a key member of the New Zealand rugby community too, gave up so much of his time, was the doctor for North Harbour, for the All Blacks, for the Warriors. On and off the paddock, he was just a bloody good human. A great coat man, so of course, very close to my heart. Spent a lot of time with Doc, whether it was injuries or just having a beer with him off the field. It's crazy to think I shook his hand just 2 weeks ago up at our first game of the season against Mahu. He chirped me a bit for being too old to play, but then congratulated me on the upcoming milestone. It's just a bit unfortunate he won't be there this weekend. So shout out to Doc's family. Rich, you're an absolute legend, as is Mike, Nick, Anna, and Sue. My heart breaks for the family, an incredible human being, fortunate to have known him and to call him a friend. So rest in peace, Doc. You'll certainly be missed, mate. Round 5 of God's game, and again, it was another crazy week on the old Carmichael punt. Gotta say, early doors, front footer. Shout out to General Lee. Apologies to him, of course, co-host on the George Sports podcast. If you're a listener, each Friday I talked him out of a multi where he wanted to go Cowboys to beat the Panthers. He wanted to go Eels to beat the Dragons. And then he also wanted to have a single game bet on any game to go to Golden Point, the first of the season. I basically told him he was an idiot, knew nothing about footy, so he didn't place the bet. Shit, was he mad at me on Sunday night. I was copping the sprays days of doom, and fair enough too. That would have been a lucrative payday. But man, these results are crazy at the moment. And as a fan, it makes for an incredibly interesting watch. Games that you normally wouldn't be that invested in, all of a sudden, become huge upset potential, so you can't help but have bums on seats. It's been great to see. Thursday night saw the Raiders beat the Sharks at home 24-20. An exciting game, this one. Sebi Chris with a try in the last minute to get a win, and a win for us on my same game multi that I tipped out last week. Huddy Young, he bagged a double, as did Britain Nikora. The Sharkies now with their backs against the wall. The narrative has popped up again that they can only beat the lesser teams in the comp. They can't go with the decent sides. It was a big win for the Raiders at home too, snapping a couple game losing streaks, so no doubt Ricky Stewart was fizzed for that one. Friday night saw the Panthers go down. 4 losses on the trot. This shocked me. First time since 2019. 18 points to 22. The Cows came into CommBank and came away with the chocolates. Panthers certainly had their chances. Casey McLean, I'm sure he copped a spray from Ivan Cleary for not giving that pass to Jenkins down the stretch there to probably get them the win. Jenkins in my fantasy and super coach side, so I was fuming to see him denied some extra points for scoring a try too. But still, the Cowboys, they deserved this one. They hung tough, took the most of their opportunities and got the dub. Nathan Cleary thought he was outstanding. Isaiah Yeo, 250 games. I just can't believe they couldn't pull off the win for them. And I pointed out last week, home games this year for the Panthers at CommBank, I think it's been understated just how big of a disadvantage that is for them. Or not so much a disadvantage, but how big of a blow it is for their season. They'd turned Bluebet into a fortress, a place where teams didn't want to go each week. It was tough to get dubs out there. CommBank, their record there, pretty dusty. Fair few sides play there too, so it's not quite as scary of a trip, and I think we're seeing that show up in the results as well. Bunnies 20, Roosters 14. A huge dub for the Bunnies, down both halves. They literally lost old mate Pumphrey's biggest biceps in the comp almost straight away, and then Cody Walker, he went down as well. Latrell Mitchell stepped up though, first game of the season for him, and he delivered that pass he threw for Tass to score in the corner. Oz fizzed, had Tass on my multi. Yes, it probably was forward. I get the whole backwards out of the hand, and then it certainly drifted forward. I'm no fucking physicist, or I don't do science, all that type of stuff. Newton's law. I've seen people crunching algorithms all across X, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff, trying to justify and argue whether it was forward or backwards. For me, though, I just took it as a heck of a seed. Some elite ball playing from a guy playing his first game this year. I thought he was exceptional, so I'm willing to allow it. He's a freak. He comes up with big plays all the time, loves the biggest stage, had a few massive conversions too. This was just a gritty win from the Bunnies, a game they probably should have lost considering everything they had to face. They're down to a 15-man interchange, but still they dug deep. And Trelly fit, now he gets to wear the 6 this week and run the cutter against the Cows, so keen to see how that looks. Super Saturday, Eels 23, Dragons 22. Labelled this one as the Gutho revenge game, and he certainly didn't disappoint. Bagged himself a double, including the first try of the game. I thought I was in for a nice little same game multi in this one. Had Gutho, Christian Tuipulotu, Dragons to win. Both those lads scored. But cometh the hour, cometh the man. Zach Lomax stole the show, and of course what was his revenge game as well, and he had the last laugh. Banged over a drop goal, hit it sweetly in Golden Point to get them the win, 23 points to 22. No doubt Flano was fuming at the outcome of this one. They had a chance to cement their win against the Storm with back-to-back dubs, up 20 points to 8. They should shut that one down, so they'll be kicking themselves for sure. Keen to see how they bounce back this week, and well done to the Eels for snapping their streak and getting their first dub of the year. Unfortunately, Zach Lomax fractured foot, so that is tough for Para fans. I saw he was crying post-game. People were saying he was overcome with so much emotion, beating his old side off the back of such a huge individual play. Perhaps now we know that he'd fractured his foot. Maybe he was just crying out of pure pain. Kicking the Steadon through the sticks fucking hurt with a foot fracture. Hey, we might never know, but well done to old Low Job. The Finns, their first win of the season as well. Super Saturday, great for teams that were on the donut. A couple spoon contenders getting themselves a tick in the dub column. 36 points to 10, they pumped the Titans. They were really impressive, I thought, the Dolphins. The Titans, on the other hand, what a roller coaster they continue to be. Rock stars one week, and then they look like homeless blokes the next week. Geez, if you're a Titans fan, I feel sorry for you. Broncos 46, Tigers 24. Not too much to say on this one. Slight injury scare there for Adam Reynolds, which no doubt had Broncos fans a bit nervous. Squeaky bum time, but he's named to play this week with a slight hamstring strain. So that'll be relief for them. Another solid dub for the boys from Brizzy. Sunday, Manly pumped at Brookvale, 48 points to 24, a huge win for the Melbourne Storm. I built this one up as the game of the week. Unfortunately, it didn't quite live up to that hype. 18-10 at halftime. I thought this was going to play out to be a nail-biter right down to the 80, but then Melbourne, they just dominated the second half, scored 30 unanswered points in a 20-minute window post-Oranges to bury the game. Manly, they scored 3 meaties in the final 12 minutes, but that was just to make the scoreboard look a whole lot more respectable. Shout out to Moses Leo, came in only his second game of rugby league, and it happens to be his debut for the Melbourne Storm in such a huge game as well. Had a really tough task marking Tolu Kola. What an attacking weapon he is, and I thought Leo did pretty well considering. Not afraid of the contact, can certainly hit hard. He flatlined Daly Cherry Evans there after he passed the ball, which I thought was a great sight. Didn't get many opportunities with nut in hand, unfortunately, but he's such a powerful, fast, strong athlete that when he does get those chances, I think he'll show the world just how good he is. Hopefully it's not this weekend against the Warriors. In fact, I know it won't be. Old Bootlace Berry will lock him down for sure. But well done to Melbourne. Puppy and Hughes, they managed to sit them in the last 10 to 20 minutes. The game was done. Cue in the rack type of stuff. They continue to hum. This week, they're going to lose, but they look every bit the real deal, that's for sure. And then the final game of the week, Dogs. Who let the Dogs out? 20 points to 0 over the Knights. Another strong display from them defensively to remain sitting pretty undefeated at the top of the ladder. They've had wins, though, against the Dragons, Titans, Eels, and Sharks and Knights. So it's hardly our year. Bust out the parades through Belmore territory yet for me. But the way they've been going, their systems on D, they're missing key players. It certainly makes you think that last year wasn't a fluke, that they will be in the mixer come finals time. They're a genuine contender, and when the rubber hits the road and playoff intensity starts to reach some of these games, I think they'll be ready to go with the best in the comp. Shout out to Joshy Curran as well, saluting for my bet slip too. Nothing better than a $5 odds try scorer saluting in the last game of the weekend, Sunday night, after a tough weekend on the punt. Just fills you with confidence, makes you believe that you are good enough to go again next weekend. It's almost like when you've had a shit round of golf, you get to the 18th hole, pipe a drive for the first time in the round, sink a putt from fucking 20 foot that you've been triple putting all day long. That's enough to keep you coming back and paying the green fees, convincing yourself that you love golf. This was pretty much the punting equivalent of that. But on to round 6 we march. Warriors sitting in 4th. Suck on that Aussie experts, boys. Fresh off a bye, ready to rip in for the ambusher Amy as well. More on that shortly, but man, is it good to see us sitting up there right in the mixer at the top of the ladder. Tonight, Finns vs Panthers. The ghost Dylan Edwards is back. That is some much-needed relief for the Panthers fans. He'll form a new spine combo as well, alongside his old mate, the Chin, but a new 6 in Blaze Talangi, the stoner. Keen to see how he goes there. And then Luke Summerton at 9. Not many. Mitch Kenny ruled out with a shoulder niggle. He'll be missed for the Finns. Skipper Tommy Gilbert, he's back. The Psycho Plath, Maxi Plath, he moves back to the bench. The Finns, they're coming in off a win. Panthers on that 4-game streak. Surely they snap it here, though. It's almost desperation dub time for the Panthers, which is pretty unusual territory for them. Sitting in 15th on the ladder. That is wild. I can't see them going down to the Finns at Suncorp, though. Surely they turn this around. It's only a matter of time. Friday night footy, Dragons, Titans, same 17 for the Dragons. No Tino for the Titans. I'm going to go the Dragons here. I think a little bit of a poo slinger, but it's still worth watching. And then after that, Broncos versus Chooks. Shock me. Broncos, Friday night game, prime time at Suncorp. Seems like they always get that Thursday or Friday night slot, but there's a new 7 for the Chooks. Chatty Townsend been doing his podcast, but unfortunately hasn't been performing on the paddock. So Hugo Savala comes in, his first start and just his fourth NRL game. So a big responsibility there on some young shoulders, but by all accounts, the kid is a genuine rugby league throbber of the future. Lindsay Collins, he's out with a knee injury. That looked pretty nasty. Nat Butcher, no relation to the Nat Butcher, moves into prop. Victor Radley returns from a cheekbone injury to move into the 13. Mark Ngawanganetawase, named an 18th man. A lot of chat. He could come in for the XL condom in Dommy Young, so watch this space. Thinking Broncos too good here, especially at home. Super Saturday, Sharks versus Manly. This one and the Bunnies versus Cows game, both being played in Penrith, Optus Stadium. So 5 p.m. kickoff for us. Love that time slot for some footy. Unfortunately, this one does clash with Moana versus the Blues, which we'll talk about shortly. But it's time for dual screen, baby. Sky Sport now. Fire up the app. I think my code might still be working too. Surly25 for 25% off your first month. Punch it in if you're not already a customer and try your luck. You could save yourself some pennies. But both sides, Sharks and Manly, coming in off losses, both with minimal changes to their sides. A potential big in for the Gulls with Lockie Croker listed amongst the extended bench. He could be coming back from a knee injury, which would be massive. That would then allow them to push Jazz back to the bench to play that impact role that he loves so much. Both sides not struggling to score points this year. It's more defensively that's been the big worry. And honestly, this one for me, it's a real pick-em. Two teams that can beat the best on the comp on their given day, but they can also shit the bed and really struggle if they want. A bit of a lottery game. Maybe Sharks on top because of no turbo for Manly, but I'm not 100% confident in that one either. Either team 1 to 12 seems to be the best option. Just a real fence set, splinters on your ass type stuff. Bunnies versus Cows, depleted Rabbitohs side up against the Cowboys team running high on confidence off the back of 2 wins. What a difference a fortnight has made for Todd Payton. I was predicting he'd be the first coach to be sacked, but if they keep pulling up with performances like this, then it's going to be bloody hard to get rid of Toddy P. Cody Walker, Humphreys, Mikaele Ravalawa all succumbing to hamstring injuries last week. A bit of a hamdemic going round at Redfern at the moment, which means a new halves pairing there. Latrell Mitchell, Trally Mitt, fully fit, moving to 5'8". Jaden Sullivan to halfback 2. They got him on a 1-year loan from the Tigers. Smart move there. No Lewis Dodd. I think he got suspended in New South Wales Cup last week. There's a bit of chat he didn't actually play that well. I think it was Guru saying he hardly blew the house down, so maybe he wouldn't have been picked anyway. JS comes in there instead. Try scoring machine, AJ, he's back from a rib injury as well, onto the Sting. And Ewan Aitken, ex-Warrior, good lad, actually, old Ewan. He's back from a pec injury too, and he'll play his first game of the season in the centres. A handy pickup right there. Potentially a good fantasy buy too if he moves back into the second row once they get bodies back on deck, your Campbell Grahams and whatnot. So keen to see how he goes. For the Cowboys, Reuben Cotter, he's back late scratching last week due to illness. Interesting to note too, the Bunnies have lost their past 4 games in Perth. Hate the joint, and they've only won 1 of their last 5 games without Cody Walker too. So maybe the Cows are on to go 3 on the bounce here. Eels versus Raiders. This game's in Darwin as well. Bit of a travelling circus for the NRL this week. Seems like everyone's packed up their bags and taken the show on the road. Don't really know why Para keep agreeing to taking games here too. They've lost their last 3 straight in Darwin. They're the home side. Must bring them in a shit ton of money because results certainly don't justify it. Unfortunate news too, like I mentioned before. Lomax out for 6 weeks. Tough scenes. I like the Raiders here. Super Sunday, game of the week. You already know it. Storm versus Waz, 4 p.m. footy. Picture this. You're on the couch. You're dusty as fuck as I'm going to be. 150th game for me for the Northcote Prems on the weekend. So I'm going to be dusty as Domino's, Macca's, KFC. Fuck it, even order yourself a butter chicken, all Uber Eats, whatever you want, whatever is your takeaway of choice. Park up, sink yourself into the sofa, hungover code at its finest. I cannot wait. And yes, the haters will be saying we've lost the last 16 straight. We haven't won at Amy Park since 2014. The narrative is not great for us. Not since that Nathan Friend backflip have we beat the bastards. But Rocco is in, And I reckon he's one of those blokes, the most likely of the squad to be able to pull off a Nathan Friend-like pass, which pulls me with great confidence. Manly, the same 17, a dangerous one too, that got the dub last week. We all know the threats in their spine as well. Then you throw in the likes of Ali Katoa, Stefano, Bloor and Core. Their pack is pretty dangerous too, but the keys for me in getting the dub, line speed on D. That's been great. We need to bring that this week too. Cut down opportunities for Munster and Hughes to work their magic. Be sharp around the ruck so Harry Grant can't get out and snipe. That'll kill a shit ton of their momentum. If we sit back and give those guys time, we're going to be in trouble. We also need to be aware Pappenhausen floating around the ruck pops up a lot, and if we allow Storm players to get their arms free, play some Bluetooth footy, he'll be right there for offloads, and he'll probably turn them into meaties too. So we really need to be aware and pointing him out whenever he is around the football. We need to complete our sets, tick our own boxes. That's what we've been doing so well this year. Control the controllables for us. Stay gritty, stay in the fight, ride the wave of momentum. If we do that, we tick those boxes that we've been so strong at, then we'll put ourselves in a position to win. This team, this Warriors team for me, deserves to be trusted and respected. We went down in the last minute against them over there last year. That Xavier coach try absolutely crushed our souls, but we're a better side than that. We've won 3 on the trot, looking to make it 4 off an extended break. Lukey Met just had a baby, so he's going to go full DILF mode and play like a man possessed. We're on here, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not picking up what I'm putting down, then you need to get your ears checked. $5.20 at the TAB, I believe we are. That is bloody good buying. Win the middle, get quick ruck speed, let Wado do his thing. That matchup between him and Harry Grant is going to be a doozy. Queensland hooker, probably, arguably, the best in the game up against the player who I believe is the best hooker in the game at the moment and should be the New South Wales hooker, and the great man, the CEO of Ruck Manipulation, Wade Egan Park. There's great matchups all across the paddock as well. This game is going to be a great measure as to where we're at early in the season. I'm confident the ambush of Amy is on. That's why I've dubbed it that. Go the fucking boys. Interesting to note as well, Tanner Boyd, 18th man as well. Of course, Lukey Met had his baby, so maybe there's a chance he doesn't play. Baby born, maybe he wants to spend time at home with the wife and the new one, especially because it's his first child, so that would be fair. So keep an eye out for that too, closer to kickoff. Potential there that Tanner Boyd could come into the side, and good to see as well Tamaide Martin come out during the week, I think yesterday actually, and say he's not going anywhere this year. He's going to reassess his options at the end of the season, so that kills those rumours too. So Tanner Boyd maybe comes in, don't know anything around that. That's just speculation. Me putting 2 and 2 together, seeing him in the 18th man jersey for the first time, and Matt just having a kid. Ambush at Amy, book it. Sunday Arvo, 4 p.m. Can't wait for this game. Fire up. We've got consistency in our lineup. The boys are feeling confident. We're fresh off a break. Bodies are feeling good. We're absolutely on. If there's ever a time where it'd be great to knock off the Melbourne Storm, it's right now, just to show we are the real deal, which I 100% believe we are. And then final game of the round, Knights versus Tigers. Bit of a down buzz after what I expect the game before this to be, but the Knights, a number of injury force changes for them. Jack Cogger's out, James Schiller's out, Jacob Saifiti's out. That was tough to see. Pulled his calf, running out the tunnel. That is my worst nightmare for this weekend, personally, for my game too, so perhaps I'll just walk. Jack Hetherington out with a shoulder. Adam Elliott, the Sheriff, he's out with a calf as well. So Wellington, Phoenix, Crosland, he moves from hooker to halfback. Jaden Brayley comes into play 9. Classy footballer though, so no real loss there. Kai Pearce-Paul, he returns from suspension. And then the big watch for me, Tyrone Thompson to make his debut off the sting, of course, twin brother of Leo. I reckon he has potential to be just as good as Leo too. Got a bit more of a skill set about him, plus he's just as hearty. Those two together in those Knights jerseys look like a terrifying sight. They just both ooze mana and put fear down your spine, so keen to see how Tyrone goes. For the Tigers, big in for them, Jerome Luai, he's back. And then they also get back Skelton from a hamstring and Samuel Afainu too. So I reckon they could be on for the upset here. The Knights, they've got the second best defensive side in 2025, but they're 17th at the moment on attack, and I reckon those changes just could be a few too many. upsets on. Again, we'll talk more about that in the punting segment shortly. But one thing we know about the NRL, it's going to dish up some doozies this weekend. So make sure you're locked in. Going to be a bloody good watch. And up the mighty Waz. We are well and truly coming for the Storm. Super Rugby continues to tick boxes. Some great games last weekend and some mouth-watering matchups this weekend as well. We are now, just over the halfway mark in this competition, and still she's anyone. It's a tight fight to try get yourself into the six. A real logjam with Aussie teams continuing to show they're made of the right stuff in 2025. A quick look back at last week's results. Chiefs 27, Reds 15. Congrats, of course, to my good mate Shooter. 100 games, raised the bat. It was an unreal celebration as well. Managed to get my way onto the field, myself and Kimbo, getting plenty of photos from Surly listeners, firing them through on Insta, saying they were seeing me on Sky Sport for the presentation. That was pretty cool. A real honour to be there on the field with him as he received his acknowledgement. The wet weather, she made for a tight game. Reds had their chances to win this game as well. When the 10 dropped the ball over the line, I thought that was a real turning point. It would have been tough to wrestle back momentum from there, and the Reds could have continued to be the Chiefs' bogey side. Luckily, the lads finished strong to get the dub. Shit, did they celebrate too. I actually had a quiet night in bed nice and early. Had a Coke game the next day, of course, but I was staying at the house where kick-ons were hosted. Fair to say, fair few grins were deleted. So shout out to the Chiefs lad. Shooter, only the 11th Centurion, so it's only right you celebrate that achievement, and a bloody good win as well. Moana, 45, Tars 28. Back-to-back wins for Moana for the first time in their history. What a performance too. There's just something about playing at QBE Stadium, the mighty dog pound in Albany. It just eases mana. Really tough place to go and get dubs, and Moana are certainly benefiting from that, I reckon. Down 21-7 at Oranges. No doubt a hissing halftime speech from Tana. One of the great performances from Artie. The lads were inspired to pull off the comeback, and that's exactly what they did. The big fella, the prop, a hat-trick of tries from him, 70-odd points on Fantasy 2, an unreal performance. Shit, is he a talented big bopper. An unreal win from Moana, moves them up into 8th, 2 points out of the playoffs, sets up a lip licker of a clash. Battle of the Bridge this weekend up against the Blues. Moana, they're just a pleasure to watch. It's great to see people getting out to support them. The momentum continues to build. They're everyone's second favourite team if they're not their first. And man, Artie, what a leader. He must be really putting the pressure on Scotty Barrett, old dog roll, to be skipper of the All Blacks. For sure. Fijian Ndrua 14, Crusaders 31. Well done to the Saders. Got a win in Fiji. Snapped their streak of losing over there. And did it pretty comfortably too. Drua scored a couple late tries to make the scoreboard look a little more convincing, but really they were well outplayed in this game. Saders, the deserved winners in Suva. Blues 19, Canes 18. An important win for the Blues at Eden Park. It was hardly champagne footy though. Tough, gritty win for them off the back of pure desire. The Canes had their chances, just couldn't quite execute, make them count. Some poor errors at crucial times. Guys like Hohepa missing touch, Bodie bringing out the banana kicks of doom, bend it like Bodie to make them pay. He was incredible, just shows how important he is to this team, and securing an incredibly important 4 points for their season as well to keep their playoff hopes alive. Force 29, Landers 20. Tizano, first try scorer, bagged himself another one. Shock me. Landers close again, but no cigar. They're goners for me now. 4 losses on the bounce. It's unfortunate, but I think you just got to put a line through them. Force, though, up into 4th. Played an extra game than everyone, so they have the bye this week, which certainly helps them on the ladder, but still, that's an impressive shift from the usual cellar dwellers of the competition. This week, 5 games, Friday night, Canes Saders at the Cake Tin. There was rumours getting around Ruben Love might be playing 10. Unfortunately, that's not true. Personally, I'd love to see it happen. I reckon the Canes should roll the dice on it too. He's got the perfect skill set in order to play really well there, and I think flexing his versatility would be great for the All Blacks as well. Riley Hohepa, though, he stays there. Had a rough performance last week, but it was only 14 days ago we ripped up the Tars too, so certainly willing to give him a second chance. Ruben Love at 15, Harkin on the bench to cover. Wouldn't be surprised if Rubes moves there at some stage though, like he did against the Blues late in that game into the 10 jersey. A pretty settled Cane side overall, though. For the Saders, she's a strong team. No Cody Taylor, but the rest of the pack is stacked. That loose forward trio of Cullen Grace, Ethan Blackadder, and Christian Lolo-Willie really are deadly. Sevu Reece moves back to the Sting. I think the Crusaders get up away from home and prove to be too good. Pretty surprised at the odds around this game too, which we'll touch on shortly. Tars Chiefs following that in Sydney, Friday night doubleheader. Chiefs roll out the Rolls Royce pack. Taukiaho, Tupouva'i, Samapeni Finau all get the start. 3 All Blacks in your pack. Not the worst changes to make there. Plus you add to that Wallace Satiti, talks of him being back before playoffs too. The Chiefs are just loaded with weapons. Shooter onto the wing. Josh Jacob gets the start at 10. D-Mac at 15. Excited to see that combination from the opening whistle. On Moni Narawa, the Virus, Old Rona on the bench as well for impact off the Rimu to finish the game out. I got the Chiefs winning this one fairly comfortably. Saturday, Battle of the Bridge kicks us off. The game is actually a first of a double-header too if you're heading along. Kick-off at 4:35. Then you got the Blues hosting Matatu in the Super Rugby Old Picky final at 7:05 as well, which should be a good game. Backing the Blues in that one. Mark Talia, bit of chat around him heading to Japan at the end of this season. Apparently he's already signed to Toyota, which I think is Hanson's team, so that would make a lot of sense. He's on the wing this week, though, in a strong Blues side. The DJ, Ricky Riccatelli, he gets the start at hooker. Please add Feta, still on the bench. Corey Evans gets the start in the 15. And shout out to Peter Feta, too. I believe it was announced he's going with Auckland for NPC. Hopefully Harbour made him an offer. Shit could we do with him, but that is a great get for Auckland right there. For Moana, Pellegrini on the bench. That's a big call. He has been crazy, almost turned their season around the form he's been in the 10 jersey. Instead, Jackson Garden Bishop gets the start. Probably the best team song leader in world sport at the moment. Runs the cutter at the Wellington Lions. Their team song is unreal. And then Moana's is second to none. So he deserves it for his off-field performances anyway. And perhaps this is a signal Moana are looking to target the second half of the game. Bring Pellegrini on to try offset the effect of Perifeta. Be interesting to see how it plays out. There's some big matchups all across the paddock in this one. That loose forward battle is going to be intriguing, as are the battles out wide. Landers versus Druitt, the Sistema lunchbox. It's desperation nation for both of these two teams. Basically, the loser of this one, I reckon it's season done. Put a line through them. I'm backing the Landers to get the win at home. Think they'll be too strong. Druitt, just been unfortunate for them this year. At the start of the season, they were right in the mix. The last couple of weeks, they've been getting blown out, though, and I really wasn't impressed with their shift in Suva last weekend. And then Reds Brumbies to round us out. Big Aussie derby, this one. I'm going to back the Reds to bounce back in Queensland at some decent odds, too, which we'll touch on again shortly in the old punting segment next. So another hissing round of Super Rugby. Big playoff ramifications, as there will be basically each week moving on from here. Cane Saders tomorrow night should be a doozy to kick us off. But the big one for me, Moana versus the Blues, Eden Park. Get up the Moana. Would love to see them get the upset of doom. Man, would that be scenes. All right, time to fire up the Tea and Biscuits app, open up the TAB. Let's cast our eyes over the weekend's action, see if we can find some lucrative markets for juicy return, green ticks on bet slips. You guys know the drill. Remember as well, exclusive Surly listener TAB bonus cash offer. Enter the bonus code TRYTIME. Place a first, second or third try scorer bet on any NRL game. If it loses, get up to $20 back as bonus cash. That is one per customer per round. Again, the code is TRYTIME, and that's limited to the first 200 people to claim it. Let's start with the NRL, of course, God's Game Rugby League. My favourite sport to punt on, and the majority of yours too. Tonight, Finns take on the Panthers. Finns paying $2.90, Panthers $1.42. The Panthers have won 9 of their last 10 games at Suncorp. They love going to Brizzy and getting busy. Nathan Cleary, the people's chin, he requires 8 points to break the all-time club's point scoring record, so good luck to him. Herbie Farnworth and Jake Averillo, they've both scored 4 tries in their last 3 games at Suncorp. Herbie, he's paying $3.10 in this one. Averillo, $3.40. So some good value there if you wanted to run a nice little centre of attention, same game multi. Dolphins fullback, the Hammer, Hamiso Tabuai Fidau, he scored 4 tries in his last 3 games against the Panthers. Snapped his try scoring drought last week, paying $2.20 this week. Not a bad shout there for the Panthers. Casey McLean, he scored a try in each of his last 3 games. Butchered one last week too. Possibly cost them the game. He's paying $1.91. A couple of rumours he could be a late out though, so keep an eye out for the team updates before punting on him. And then finally a cheeky little milestone. The young Dolphins halfback Isaiah Katoa. Massive future on this kid. Actually taking on his old club at Penrith too. Making his 50th NRL appearance. So good luck to that bloke. For my tips in this one, stats suggest Panthers. Said last week they don't lose 4 in a row. Surely they don't lose 5 in a row. Edwards back, the ghost. It's time to get this ship sailing again. So I'm going to go Alamoti, Blaze Talangi, paying $3.30. Some good value around him in the 6 jersey. Bloke's a noted try scorer. And then the Panthers as well. So that's my same game multi, paying $6.20. Full Fizz Friday, double header. First game, Dragons $1.60 favourites. Titans at $2.35. The Dragons have won 4 of their last 5 against the Titans, and the Titans have lost all 6 games they've played at Wynn Stadium. Terrell Sloan, he's scored 9 tries in his last 10 games at Wynn. Desi Hasler, he's lost 5 in a row against the Shane Flanagan coach side. Christian Tuipolotu, he scored 7 tries in his last 6 games. And AJ Brimson, shout out to him, playing some good code in the 6 at the moment. He scored 3 in his last 2 games at $2.90. Some decent value about Brimo there. I'm going to go safe for this one. Bit of a missionary bet for my same game multi. Tuipolotu, show me the money. And then Sloan, the 2 Dragons wingers into the Drags. That only gets you $3.65 though, so you could boost it with a nice little first, second or third, or you could just lay a flat out first, second or third bet with the code. Chuck it on this game. Tuipolotu, he's playing $3.30, Sloan $3.80, and Brimo at $6.60. Don't forget your roots, my friend, one of the great Kiwi bands. That's a decent shout as well. Broncos Chooks, Bronx $1.18 favourites. Chooks $5. That's almost getting up to the odds where they bet the Panthers, so maybe upsets are on. Surely not though. Broncos, they have not defeated the Roosters twice in a season since 2018, so they're looking to snap that streak after beating them earlier in the year. The Roosters have lost 3 of their last 4 games at Suncorp as well. Jesse Arthurs, true hot boy, he scored 8 tries in his last 6 games, bagged a double last week, paying $1.42 anytime, $2.40 for 2 or more, and then $2.80 for first, second or third. Dommy Young, the XL condom, of course, over on the Chooks. Rumours he could be a late scratching mark. Nawanga Netawase coming into the lineup for him, but at this stage, he is named. He scored 5 tries in his last 3 games against the Bronx. He's paying $2.10 here. That's about as big as an odds as you'll get for the Dommy. Teddy, an interesting one to watch too. No tries in his last 5 games. Everyone's snapping streaks at the moment. Surely Tedesco does the same, paying $3.30. The bloke is due. My same game multi though, Broncos, Arthurs and Teddy. Can't say he's due and then not back him, $5.26. Super Saturday, Sharks $1.48 favourites, Manly $2.65. Sharkies, they've won 4 of their last 5 against the Manly Seagulls, and they've also won their last 3 games in Perth. They love the joint. Manly winger Jason Saab, the Submarine, he scored 12 tries in his last 13 games. Tolu Kola, he scored 3 tries in his last 2 games at $3.10 as well. That's pretty juicy odds for him. Ronaldo Mulatalo, he scored 5 tries in his last 5 games against Manly. He's actually on a 3-game drought as well, so surely he crosses. Britain Nikara, he bagged a double last week. He scored 5 in his last 5 games. One to watch. And then Big Hiroti in the centres as well. He scored in both of his appearances back-to-back this season at a bit of value. Hamoli Olakawatu, 100th NRL game, milestone meaty. He is also due. My same game multi though, I'm going Ronaldo into Cola, and then my best bet for this game, which is either team to win by 1 to 12 points. I expect it's going to be tight. Multi those three up, the either team, Cola and Ronaldo, you get $8.48. I really like that bet. Then you got Bunnies taking on the Cows. Bunnies 2.10 dogs. Cowboys at $1.75. The Bunnies have lost their last 4 games in Perth. Not big fans of Western Australia. The Cowboys haven't played in Perth since 1997. Jai Gray, the little fella, he scored 5 tries in his last 6 games, leads the Dalian medal hunt at the moment. That's pretty crazy. You get $2.75 for him anytime. Not bad odds. Of course, the prolific meat pie scorer as well. Basically, he's the baker. He creates the meat, puts the meat in the pie. You get what I'm saying. AJ, 5 tries in his last 3 games, chasing down that NRL top try scorer record, $1.78. You need to be sent for an HIA if you don't have him on your slips. Murray Talangi, he scored 4 tries in his last 3 games. Drinky, he's in a drought. One to watch. That is a massive omen. Literally, his last name is Drinkwater. In a try-scoring drought, you'd have to think that he snaps that. 3 games without a meaty, $2.10. A nice little drought bet there. Bunnies have only won 1 of their last 5 games as well without Cody Walker, as I mentioned before, which is probably the only reason the Cows are favourites here. For my same game multi, I've got AJ into Murray Talangi, and then that either team 1 to 12 option again, $4.94. Not the worst odds right there. Parramatta 280, Raiders $1.44, Eels, they've lost their last 3 straight games in Darwin. Fuck knows why they keep taking their home games there. Sebi Chris, he scored 5 tries in 6 games against the Eels, scored late for us last well to get up on that same game multi last week, which was massive. Shout out to him. He's paying $2.60 this week. Huddy Young, heck of a shift from him last week. 2 tries. He scored 3 in his last 3 games. He's $2.35, which is short for a second rower, but he's playing like a winger at the moment, so he's a decent shout. Joshy Adokar, the Fox, he scored 9 tries in his last 9 games. $2 is good value for him. And then shout out to Jamal Fogarty too, his 100th game, raising the bat in his NRL career. Same game multi for that one, Fox, Savage, Raiders, $4.50. Then we march on to your Super Sunday, and the TAB have dished us up a doozy here. Shout out to the bookies. Clearly they don't believe. Luckily, we all do though. We know a good investment portfolio opportunity when it pops up across our screens, and that's exactly what this game is. Melbourne Storm, $1.15 favourites. The Warriors, $5.60 head-to-head. The line is 16.5. Thank you very much. And of course, the stats, they're all against us, but fuck them. I'll read them anyway, but fuck them. The Storm, they've won their last 16 straight against us. We haven't won at Amy Park since 2014. History is made to be broken. Xavier Coates, he scored 10 tries in his last 6 games against us. Ripped our souls out last year, but we'll get revenge this year, so don't back him here. He's paying $1.53. Grant Anderson on the other sting, 5 tries in his last 5 games, including a hat-trick last week. You're getting $1.58 for him. Lil Pappy, 5 tries in 4 games, $1.73, not a bad bet. The Warriors, this is where you'll find your value though. Lukey Metcalf, DILF game, $5.40 for a meaty, really jumps out. I'm getting on that for sure. Ali Latoa, 3 tries in his last 3 games, didn't score in his most recent appearance though. $3.15 for him. Rocco up against Moses Leo, $4.25 for him to dot down on his return. And then there's a milestone bet. Aaron Clark, 100th NRL appearance. He's gone so close to crossing the chalk on several occasions this year. Surely he salutes in what will be a big game for him. $9.25. That is juicy shit. You're getting $9 for Lecker too if you think he can repeat his heroics from that Tigers game. There's some more stats about the Storm and how good they are, but they can get fucked. The ambush at Amy is well and truly on. Same game multi, cooked up 2 here. First one, a little bit more conservative, but still paying juice. Pappenhausen, Metcalf, Warriors plus 16.5 on that line. $14.29 that returns. Crazy coin. Then for your Leary bet, here we go. Strap yourself in. Metcalf, Berry to bring the jam. Warriors to win. $54.11. That's some DILF into some jam. Waz win. Massive payday, over a half century in rugby league dollars. Sign me up straight away. Your final game, Knights, Tigers. Knights $1.65, Tigers $2.25. The Knights have won their last 7 straight against the Tigers. Tigers have only won 1 of their last 5 in Newey. Fletcher Sharp, he scored 5 tries in his last 2 games against the Tigers. He's paying $2.90 here. Ponga, 5-game drought. Pretty crazy, $2.60 for him to snap that. Bradman Best, 2 tries in his last 3 games. Don't mind him here, paying $2.40 as well. For the Tigers, I have a Jareem Bulavanaka, their fullback. He scored 3 tries in his last 3 games against the Knights, paying $2.75 here. Sunia Taruva, what a try celebration he brings out. 6 tries in his last 4 games, $1.98. Stafford Toa, 3 tries in his last 2 games, paying $3.20. Same game multi, Taruva, Best, either team 1 to 12, $7.16. If you switch that out like me, you think the Tigers are a genuine shot here, you back them in, you'll get $10 of the Best as a same gamer. Bradman, Taruva, Tigers, $10. Don't mind that at all. Super Rugby, Canes Satyrs, first game on your Friday night. Canes $1.82 favourites. Satyrs $1.90. A little bit surprised the Crusaders are outsiders here, considering it's 2nd versus 8th on the ladder. Yes, I get home ground advantage, but the Satyrs, for me, they're the better side out of these two, and I'm all over them. 1 to 12, $3.10 they're paying. 13 plus, $4.40. Both great bets in my books. I genuinely think there's a chance it could be 13 plus. $1.90 head-to-head is a safe shout, though. Tars, $4. Chiefs, $1.22. Backing the Chiefs here, going shooter anytime. Surely now he's on the wing. Him, Taukiaho, my best bets for this one. D-Mac will be lurking as well. Blues, Moana. Blues, $1.16. Moana, $4.80. The line, 14.5. I'm taking that in favour of Moana. I really hope they can lift for this game. 1 to 12, $6.50. That would be absolute scenes. Probably have a little heart bet on that one. I do expect the Blues to just be too good, but I do think it's going to be a close game. That line is massive. Landers, $1.35, draw $3. Tries a plenty here, surely. Jonah Nariki, let's get freaky. Chuck some on him. Jacob Ratamatavuki Nepkins on his return to the Landers. Chuck some on him. I'm taking the Landers to win as well. Think they will be too good at home. Reds versus Brums. Backing the Reds at home. $1.60 favourites, and I like them paying $3. 1 to 12 as well. That is probably my winning margin of choice. Little multi for you. Satyrs, Chiefs, Landers, Reds. $5, not bad. Masters, Scotty Scheffler, best back, $5.50, followed by Rory, $7.50, Bryson, 15s to win it. Chucked up on my story, asked people on Insta who they were getting around, who they like to win it. Minwoo Lee, top 10, was a very popular option at $5. Let him cook. Justin Thomas was popular at 23s. Ludwig Aberg, he was up there as well, paying 19s. A lot of people like Rory. And then a shit ton of Colin Morikawa fans, including SJ, who said it was purely down to his Asian bias. He's paying $16, so might have to have a cheeky little flutter on him. There's also a hole-in-one option I really like in your tournament props. A bit of fun. 34 in the history of the Masters. 24 of them have been recorded on hole 16, 6 on hole number 6, 3 on 12, and just 1 on hole number 4. So if you back hole 16 for there to be a hole-in-one, it's paying $2 across the whole tournament. Not crazy odds. Last one was back in 2022, but it's something fun if you don't give a shit about the result. You're just riding home holes and ones and hoping to see that pop up. ESPN will be all over that for sure. UFC, short and simple, backing Volk, pure Patriot bet. Go and get the strap back, lad. Looking forward to watching that card from Miami this weekend. Good luck on the punt. As always, gamble responsibly, and hopefully there's plenty of winners for you this weekend. Another Surly, done and dusted again. Apologies for the quickness of this one. No guests this week either, but we'll be rolling back the guests on the pod from next week. just had to spend a bit of time planning out the bit of the layout. You know, you got to give people notice and whatnot. Wasn't quite on top of my game, but it is what it is. A lot going on at the moment, so I'll tick those boxes, and then we rip in with the guests again from next week. If you're playing grassroots footy or any sport this weekend, go well, unless you play for Silverdale. If you're having a punt this weekend, go well. Hopefully lots of winners for you, and the account can be sitting pretty on your Sunday night. Remember to use that code TRYTIME as well. First, second or third try scorer in any game across the weekend of your choice. Bonus back if your player doesn't score. How bloody good. Catch you back here, same time, same place next week. Up the Waz, up Moana, up the mighty coat. 150th on Ways. Bus trip into a massive steam up. Can't bloody wait. How good.